Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome to another ArchCast. Long Nose slept again, hasn't she? I need a new co-host. Goddamn fat little fishy. But on the bright side, we can open with a topic, then, that would not interest the fishy at all. That would, in fact, only interest a particular small segment of the more autistic population. This thing. Okay, so Paradox has, over the last years at this point, gotten a little bit weird, shall we say. Where Crusader Kings 3, pretty damn good, honestly. I don't have too many complaints about it. Victoria 3, massive disappointment. Europa Universalis 5, good start, followed by an enormous, pathetic fall-off. And then Hearts of Iron 4, of course, which has kind of been like their main cash cow now for the last... Fuck, when did Hearts of Iron 4 come out? Jesus, it's been a while. Hold on. Hearts of Iron 4. 2016. Boy. Fuck, well that's a rude reminder of just how fucking old I am. Thanks, Paradox. Thanks for nothing. But yeah, they've been milking that one for 10 goddamn years. To the point now where I've been seeing people go like, oh, but what about Hearts of Iron 5? I don't know if they'll ever make one. The cash cow appears to be mooing quite happily in the field, so why even bother, huh? But at the same time, they're kind of not having a great number of fresh new things either. So, in case you were unaware, Prison Architect 2, by the way, this was one of their, like, supposedly big releases. This has been delayed indefinitely now. It had a release date, then it was moved into no release date. I think even they fired all of the developers, as this isn't made by the Prison Architect devs at all. They simply sold the rights to the name and then moved on, and I mean, it kind of looks awful. I don't know why they would have decided to go with the like weird 3D art style where everybody looks like some kind of Frankensteinian hunchback. It's odd. CK3 is going to continue to be milked, of course. Age of Wonders, which... Okay, Age of Wonders, I played it, and I was like, this is a great game. I just don't like it. which literally was my entire reaction to it. It was a good game, and I can recognize that it was a good game. I just didn't like it. I don't know. I don't know. I played it. I was like, yeah, this is really good. Mechanics are solid. Everything's good. I'm just not having fun. And I can't really even truly explain why. It just didn't tickle my pickle at all. Stellaris is on like 75 million expansion packs now, I'm pretty sure. That doesn't seem to show any sign of slowing down either, even as each expansion pack gets a little bit worse than the preceding one. Kind of the EU4 problem there. That just... Well, is it a problem if it never ends? If it never stops printing money? See, I had a thumbnail made for a Stellaris playthrough using the Terran Federation like, 2 years ago, and I've never gotten around to it. And I still want to do it because I like the idea of the Terran Federation in Starship Troopers. As honestly, that would raise some fascinating moral questions, as they are not at all like your classic anti-xeno-genocidal faction in any way, really. In fact, their entire idea is an element of managed ultra-democracy, which would actually be rather fascinating, I think. Anyways, then there's Victoria 3, which hasn't really done very well at all, and I doubt it'll do well. It'll continue to kind of limp along, being the red-headed stepchild of the Paradox franchise. Bloodlines, absolute unmolestable disaster, of course, which is getting its handful of DLC, which By the way, I think this is the DLC where they added in the ability to carry weapons. Wow. Feature list 2026. The ability to use weapons. Fuck me. And City Skylines 2 was another one of those, like, well, they couldn't possibly fuck this up. Oh, but they did. Oh, but they did. So, Paradox is kind of resting on, like, two pillars right now. And, there's kind of three if you add in, like, CK3 is probably the healthiest one of them, I guess. And all of those pillars are supported purely by just mass DLC. So the odds are then that this is going to be a new game, I would imagine. If they're doing this much tease for a DLC, I'll be deeply fucking confused. But what could it be? I genuinely have no fucking idea, honestly. Because you've got a machete there, like that's more of like a modern industrial age weapon rather than something ancient. Then you've got the crude flag over there, and they've teased it with all kinds of contradictory things. One with the Byzantine crown, another with German warships invading England, a deserty background. I'm imagining probably new game. I'd be shocked and extraordinarily disappointed if this was, just more DLC. And hopefully, Paradox's stocks would tank overnight as well, if it was. I'll see you there. Does chat have any theories? I have seen theories. I saw somebody suggest it might be Anbenar, which, having now played the Anbenar mod, I really do like it. It's a cool little universe, and apparently being ported into Victoria 3 as well, but that's exactly why I don't think it could possibly be that, because why would the mod workers even still bother working at the mod if they were going to make a, game out of it? Huh? Maybe, honestly, I'd be expecting Stellaris 2 more than I would Hearts of Iron 5. I just don't think they're going to make Hearts of Iron 5 ever. At the very least, not until sales of Hearts of Iron 4 DLC fail substantially enough, I guess. Maybe it could have something to do with Fallout, but maybe. Something post-apocalyptic? Post-apocalypse strategy game? Yeah, but they've also tried those, though. They've tried a couple of post-apocalyptic strategy games before, or post-apocalyptic like colonial builder things, and they all failed. So I don't know if they'd go that path again. It's like, well, we tried this already, and it failed miserably. How about we try again? I wouldn't put it past Paradox. They are Swedish, after all. Post-apocalyptic 4X would be fun. They're not too many. That's true. And you could do a lot of very interesting things with that. Now, the problem is Paradox is a little bit too formulaic. There was a game. It's not Civilization Beyond Earth. So Civilization Beyond Earth, which some of you may remember, was kind of like, well, literally Civilization game, derp. But its thing was that it put you on an alien planet, right? But there was another game. For X on alien planet games. There was another game that I remember. X4 Exodus? No, I don't think so. There was a game that came out before that. And I cannot remember its name right now. But I remember basically that it did everything that Civilization Beyond Earth tried to do, but it did it better in every way. Because it managed to introduce an actual sense of wonder and mystery to the planet that you were exploring. You'd see shit and be like, oh god, what the hell is that? what does that do? How does that work? And it kind of then slowly unraveled the story of everything around you. Kind of upset I don't know what the heck that fucking video game was called now. Nor can I find it either. It was really, really, really old. Really, really old. Yep, can't find it now. But it did that very, very, very well. There was also Zephon. I did a video on that. I did a review on Zephon a while ago. This game right here, very solid 4X game. A bit limited, because it's basically, you know, Gladius, but in a... in fact, isn't it by the Gladius developers? Roxy Studio? Yeah, it is! There we go! Well, fuck, there you are. No wonder then, yep. It's basically Gladius, but in their own setting. It was really, really good. Really good. Probably one of the best, like, of these style of 4X games I've played. And it, too, did a very good job of making the world feel a bit weird, a bit alien, a bit strange, you know? So if Paradox were to do that, in, like, Hearts of Iron format, I'd be intrigued. I'd be very, very intrigued. Very, very intrigued. But the problem is, it's Paradox, which means that on launch, it's going to be the bare-bone basics of a thing. It's going to be the rough outlines of what could conceivably become a video game if given, 3-4 years of development and at least 60 fucking $20 DLC packs. Still, we shall see. We shall see. Oh, order for $50. Thank you very much, sir. I live despite nature's mediocre attempts to the contrary. More money for the Conan Reading Fund as the art's getting closer to the Skaven Wars lore series. Skaven Wars. And why not? Why shouldn't I cover the Skaven Wars? Why shouldn't I? Honestly, I've been really wanting to do, like, the Black Death. But I'm kind of like wondering how I do it, because the issue with the Black Death is that there's not that much gritty information, so I'd have to like kind of almost massage a lot of it into place. But it is very, very, very tempting. Talid Hayabusa has been for 29 months. Thank you very much, sir. Repeal the 19th. Also, behold, chat. And I know the poor little bosses over at Kick has definitely beheld it. So now I've got the little bot thingy set up. You can communicate. Kick people can communicate with YouTube, and YouTube can communicate with Kick, vice versa. Isn't that amazing? I was told to do it, and I have done it. I have achieved literally the impossible. You are welcome. You are welcome, chat. You'll enjoy it. And yes, repeal the 19th. The meat and potatoes of today. Yes. Yes, there was quite the interesting little case. Though, before we get to that, I'd like to get you in the correct mood first, chatty patties. I'd like for you to become irate. Upset, perhaps even. Angry, a little bit. I wish to tickle you in a negative fashion. Raise your cockles a little bit, okay? And I know that you've been on the internet for a very long time, and so you might be thinking, well, I've seen it all. Nothing can really annoy me anymore. Allow me to introduce you to Dr. Anthony Fauci's crowdsourced legal defense fund.
Service guarantees citizenship.
I can't help but laugh just looking at the title. Aye. Right, so, yes. The esteemed doctor, Dr. Anthony Fauci, leading medical professional, etc., has decided that he can't pay for his currently ongoing legal expenses. It's just too expensive to defend himself against the many accusations levied against him. Now, for a normal person, that simply means that you'd have to rely on a public defender, but that's not going to happen now, is it? That is really, really not going to happen now, is it? And so, his lawyers has launched a legal defense fund as federal state investigations mount against him. God help me. And okay, now they've also made it clear, by the way, that Fauci will not be given access to this money. Of course, no. Your contributions directly support these defense efforts and ensure comprehensive legal support during the ongoing inquiries and proceedings. So this isn't money going to Fauci, it's merely money being spent to keep Fauci out of jail. Or, honestly, he's not going to see a day in jail regardless of what happens, so you know why the money's going in there. Stand with Dr. Fauci. The Anthony S. Fauci, MD Legal Defense Fund has been established to help pay the cost of ongoing legal representation for Dr. Fauci. Gosh darn tragic, I tell you. Well, what do the contributions look like? Jesus. I like how it starts at 1,000 and then slowly trickles down to a measly $25. with the option for a monthly subscription, of course, and in case you really want to help him out a little bit. Shit, fucking brass balls. I love this. I really do. Like, and oh god, is there nothing else? Refund, cancellation, tips, price. Is there nothing else? Is there like contact policies, contribute policies? I expected there to be like a spiel or something, like a pitch. So to help cover the legal, please not tax deductible as charitable donations. Thank you. That's important for me to know. No, I was kind of expecting like a pitch here at some point, right? You know, an argument for like, listen, to protect our democracy, we must help this man not be held responsible for his actions. Not quite sure how those two connect, but it's very important. No, it's literally just like an open hand extended. And okay, right. So, conspiracy theory time, chat. Conspiracy theory time. I base this on absolutely nothing and possess no evidence whatsoever. Clearly just speculation here, but surely Dr. Anthony S. Fauci, MD, must be aware of the fact that he's not necessarily the most popular human being right now, and that so a legal defense fund like this is likely to not garner him a significant quantity of donations. I would like to hope, anyways. And especially not enough to make a dent in the kind of lawyer fees that he's looking at, and from the kind of lawyer companies that he's looking at. So, why would you set up a charitable donation, quote unquote, that specifically states that is non-tax deductible as charitable donations? Bear in mind here, One of the things here with tax deductible is that you'd have to actually show that you'd spent this money. If it isn't tax deductible, however, well, then you can donate up to the maximum legal limit that any individual can donate to anything. Now, if you had, I don't know, in some kind of hypothetical speculatory scenario here, a tremendous number of highly influential, perhaps rich people who may have a vested interest in seeing you kept out of jail, but who couldn't actually associate with you openly because of all the obvious fucking dangers in so doing, mayhaps setting up some sort of anonymous donation systems that didn't need to be legally reported would be an excellent way for them to, I don't know, pay for silence, maybe, being forgotten in certain testimonies or negotiated settlements. Who knows? It's a mystery to all of us, of course. He's counting on those people that still praise as a modern-day saint? I mean, maybe, but if he was counting on those people, I imagine the contribution button would start at $5 rather than 1,000. But who am I to say? Who am I to say? My source is that I've made it the fuck up. Yes, that is my source. My legally responsible source is my anus. Grand and cavernous that it is. It can contain many, many powerful speculations, of which this is but one of them, chat. But one of them. From one interesting legal defense fund, though, to another. Actually, see, now that it's just me, and I don't have other people constantly screeching at me, I can actually keep up with Streamlabs on Streamchats and Superchats and stuff. Ethan Grant, officially late and gay. Conan. Well, listen, I needed to urinate. And you wouldn't like me to do that live, now would you? In fact, I'm pretty sure it's against COS. Anti-hero, hey Larch, I thought we'd hit an all-time low after the reaction to Kirk's assassination. Now child-deleting mothers are celebrated. What's next? Well, that's mostly just Tuesday. These days, frankly. Definitely not Frenchman. Hey, Arch, you forgot to finish my question with Stanford, did I? I'm paying 9 minutes with 2 callers would you like? And both for Conan fun. I remember that question. And I even remember thinking to myself, remember to answer the second part of the question. That was before I forgot answering the second part of the question, which I'm rapidly moving towards doing again. I mean, officially, it would have to be black and white, right? Because Arch logo. If black and white is a little bit too boring, then red and gold. That's good. That's all good colors. Brandon, I stopped playing Stellaris because I got tired of them breaking my mods. Don't we all? I stopped playing Stellaris because I got tired of the way war works. Wars are such a fucking chore in Stellaris. Sadwings raging, the world needs more Ellie Nestler types than murderous women getting $1 million. And Orno for another $50. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Missed my target. I meant to press the $100 one because I can't stay. My biggest gripe with the Skaven Walls trilogy is that it feels like I'm missing half the story, just like the Nagash trilogy, just rushed to the end. It is a tragedy. I've also really wanted to do the War of the Beards. I wanted to do that one for ages because that sounds like a lot of fun. I might do that one first, and I might try doing an AI-generated art one.
Are you ready?
Might turn a lot of people off, but
buttery butt.
It'll certainly be a hell of a lot cheaper than paying $100, $200 to $500 per art piece. Yes. Yes, it would be. Yes, it would be indeed. That also, by the way, has now fully funded the Conan Fund. So I'll be having to organize a little Conan book reading club. That will be a wonderful break from Milking Farm. Finally, I do make a distinction between where Paradox is just pub and where they also dev. Paradox as pub tends to be horrible to its developers. Paradox as a developer is gold. And Archimedes, Civ Alpha Centauri, Arch. Civ Alpha Centauri. Let me Google that. No, it wasn't that old. It wasn't that old. It was far more recent than that one. Although that one is great too. As Roxon, can we not start a hit fund instead? Nope. Not legal, sadly. Tragically. Grace to Dark Spear, hello, wish you all well. I'm a big fan of your content, Arch, respectfully to your understanding. What is woke? Right, well, there comes the thing again. The clearest and most useful definition to apply to what woke is to approach the questions of the world, be they materialistic, spiritual, realistic, or otherwise, as there's a fair bit of woke that is not exactly concerned with reality, shall we say, through an intersectional lens. That is the most, firm shorthand definition of woke, to approach the problems and quandaries of the world through an intersectional lens. Now, you could then go on to explain exactly what intersectionality is, but unlike woke, intersectionality actually does have a definition provided to us by the creator of intersectionality. And so, because that is also the creator of intersectionality, who is herself very, 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 very left-wing, it is a definition that the opposition cannot easily take umbrage with, because you are now using their own terminology to define the question. Woke is inexplicably linked to intersectionality. That is the definition that I would use, and it is the one that I think is the most effective, even though it too will require a fair bit of explanation, and you can't avoid that, simply because the entire point and purpose of woke as a, not scientific, institutional, what's the word I'm looking for? Not institutional, as related to institutions and professoriate. Intellectual, yeah, close enough. As an intellectual doctrine is to be confusing. That is the point and purpose of a tremendous degree of woke doctrine. It's not supposed to be easily understood by the layman. Dr. T. Money Dog, hi Arch, hope your day is going well. How much for a single stream of a game? For purely benevolent purposes, of course. 250 is usually what we do for a single stream of a single game. And then if chat likes it and we get about 250's worth of donations in total during the stream, then we do another one, and so on and so on. That's how we got 4 streams of Stellar Blade, I think. Oh, we were quite close to finishing that game, too. Anyways, what was I on about? I had another thing I was preparing to do, and then I waffled off topic. I had a thing I was thinking about now. Well, whatever the fuck that thing was, it has long since flown the chicken coop, so never mind, I guess. Let's instead move to the talk of the hour. Lindsay Clancy admits to killing their children. So why is there an online groundswell blaming her ex-husband? From CNN. This has been a fascinating little court case to watch, because it's not really based so much on what's legally actually happening here. In fact, what is legally actually happening here appears to have absolutely no bearing on anything whatsoever. It's more about the perception and the understanding of the actions and interpretations of the events. So let me see if I can find the thing here. Found the thing. Ah, yes, here we go. So it is currently at $1 million and 23,000 bucks out of a 2 million USD goal. By the way. Fuck yes. You think Anthony Fauci was shooting for the stars? I mean, God. I guess this kind of makes a little bit of a mockery of my previous chat, wasn't it? Like, well, clearly this must be some sort of money laundering or conspiracy. There's no way people will just throw money at Anthony fucking Fauci for no reason whatsoever. Considering the murderer of 3 children has raised $1 million, perhaps I shouldn't be so fucking sure. I really shouldn't be so gosh darn certain. Just in the last 30 minutes, $100, $100. Top donation 6 minutes ago, $100, 50. Fuck, I mean, it isn't like 10. No, here we go. Like 50, 29, 20. It's not like $2 or $3 at a time either. People are really feeling bigly about this. Feeling bigly about this, apparently. For their news, lost savings for lodging, travel, and living costs. In January 2023, Lindsay Clancy was accused of killing her 3 young children in her Duxbury, Massachusetts home. She is now on trial. The Musgrove Family Fund is for the 2 people who have remained at her side through every step of that fall, her parents, Mike and Paul Musgrove. More than 3 years, Mike and Paul have shown up for Lindsay. They have a... Wait, it's for her family? Oh, it'll be for her. No. And relocated from the Connecticut, Massachusetts, living close to their daughter. Paul's retired, Mike is a photographer. Mike is a photographer. Oh, God. They spent years absorbing the travel, lodging, and living costs required to remain close to their daughter, drawing down savings they spent a lifetime building. They have not walked away from their daughter, and they have never been unclear about why they love her. Nothing about this fund asks anyone to share their view of Lindsay or the criminal case. It has donors recognize the extraordinary financial burden her parents have carried simply by continuing to be present. Because this fund has helped Mike and Paul rebuild their financial stability they have sacrificed over the past 3 years. Well, successful, I guess. And this will obviously go to her as well. Oh, derpity derp. 1,200 recent donations for this. So, the reason why, and okay, I'm on the danger of perhaps upsetting a fair few people. I will say, I do not actually outright blame... Stop doing that, you silly thing. I don't outright and absolutely blame the mother herself. So, there is quite a lot of stuff that has come out around this case right here. And one of the things that they are currently suing for is that it is not her responsibility that she committed these actions. So she's pleading insanity in the what's the term? Insanity in the moment of criminality. That's not the correct term, but you get the understanding. She's pleading that she was mentally ill at the time, and she alleges that this was because her doctors gave her the wrong drugs. Now, I was about to say post-coital depression. That's not the term. Although, well, technically, sort of, kind of, it is post-coital depression, just, you know, a few months later. That's not at all the term. Post-P, what was it, PPP? Poignant? Pernant? I forgot the term now, but partum, thank you. Yes, postpartum depression is a real thing. We know it is a real thing, and it is a real physical thing, as in it is an instability of the hormones in the human body. This isn't, well, it depends on if we abide by the EU's definition of mental illness, I suppose. As, well, we're in this fascinating situation right now where, legally speaking, we have redefined things like gender dysphoria, for example, which is in all due likelihood a unbalancing of the chemicals in the human body, to not be a mental illness. That's just natural. That's just how you are. You were just created like this. It's not mental illness. It's entirely natural. But it kind of shares the exact same reasoning as, well, depression in general, and also this. So, we're in this weird situation where, on the one hand, I do actually believe that is, in essence and part, a theoretically valid defense, because this would be okay if she was indeed suffering from this, and it could actually be proven that she was in the midst of postpartum psychosis, and she did not receive adequate treatment for it, or indeed, as they've also argued, that she received treatment that might have exacerbated her symptoms. Okay, that would fit the insanity plea. Now, there are other things surrounding that, which makes that plea far more difficult, however, as there were definitely elements of this that appeared very much so premeditated as well. Now, psychosis does not naturally exclude the possibility for premeditated actions either, as the instability in her hormones, etc. It doesn't mean that she's just gone completely fucking batshit insane, licking the walls, thinking they're made of honey or anything. So, the worst part, too, is it's going to be basically impossible to actually prove after the fact. Because you'd basically, and this also, by the way, is why she should be found guilty. At the first and foremost, she should be found guilty. And then mitigating circumstances could be considered after the fact, in essence. Because that's what we're talking about here. There's no doubt she did it, and there's no doubt that she should be held criminally responsible for it. The only question is to what degree, and whether or not there are other liable parties as well. And if those liable parties include the doctors and the medications that she was issued. Problem there is, now the defense, in essence, has to prove that she was affected in this way, that she was suffering from this psychosis. Otherwise, the mental insanity plea shouldn't be upheld. It simply shouldn't. It has to be proven. But the problem is we've also got... This returns to our fucking idiotic legal system, where too much of this rests entirely on interpretation and how the judge views the case. And that's where things get very interesting, right? Because legally speaking... She's admitted it, she's committed the crime, she should be judged for the crime, and then mitigating circumstances taken into consideration, of which postpartum psychosis is very well so a thing that could possibly be brought up in her defense. Postpartum? Yeah, okay, postpartum. And then the liability of potential healthcare professionals as well. But what this says about people is the interesting part. Now, on the one hand, it is very tempting to look at this, shrug, and say, woman. Because, well, yes, woman. On the other hand, we're also entering into a little bit of that thing where, like, the left wing's male rapist thing, where... men do most of the raping, because that's kind of like how we're built. That's our biology, and it's very rare for men who actually have control over themselves to do it in the West, and it's an extraordinarily rare thing over here. But you can look at other less civilized countries, and you can definitely see the biological driving force behind it. Okay, so we can classify rape, therefore, as an overwhelmingly majoritively male biology thing. We could do the same very easily with this. It's exceedingly rare that a father picks his toddler up by the legs and smashes him against the doorway. That doesn't really happen much. But women do it. And therefore, it's one of those things where it's like, it's not all women, it's not a woman thing, but it is also inexorably linked to women. There's a little bit of a circular argument there, I get it, but I'm trying to make the distinction that this is, in all due likelihood, first and foremost, again, hormonal reaction, a biological one, which then may or may not have been exacerbated. Or at least I hope so, because the alternative, okay. The alternative is also that she's just a fucking monster. And I don't like that. Listen, I am a sensitive little snowflake in many cases, okay? This is why I like to make myself believe that Epstein's Island was just to protect us against a demon portal or something, right? I'd like to find any other excuse to explain why exactly this happened. And in this case, hormones help in that respect, as the other one is for a more female explanation again. The monster route. You've forgotten to flog us for the lack of light. I have. I've been too busy ranting for the moment. Demons are real. Oh, demons are real. But okay, and here's the thing too. I've been steel manning this, playing the devil's advocate, and I shall probably continue, but the weird thing, and I'll see if I can find the I think I had a clip here. Yes, here we go. I had a couple of clips here to launch into the other side of this. So there was an interview, or like the clip interview thingy here. Which I'll play.
We're talking about the Lindsay Clancy trial. What's your take?
Her husband, he murdered the kids.
So can you tell me what evidence you've seen that would lead you to believe that? I'm neutral. All right. So that's one of the claims that have been going around the internet lately, that it's suddenly the father's fault, even though he's never been charged. He's not on trial. There's no evidence that he had anything to do with the killing of the children. There's no evidence.
There's not even any indication, in fact, that he had anything to do with the killing of the children. This is one of those things that just kind of fucking appeared.
Ready to rut this yellow
out of God only knows where. Just like, oh, yes, no, we can't believe that she killed them, so it must be the father's fault. How? Based on what? Well, nothing other than woman protect woman. Woman protect woman in a tribal kind of conflict. Let me show you another clip here.
And another thing about this Lindsay Clancy case that is bringing up the rage within me that is like generational at this point is the fucking men who think that they can come in here, take up fucking space, and speak on things they don't fucking know anything about. Y'all need to learn when to shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down. You have no idea what fucking postpartum depression is. Calling it baby blues, you motherfuckers. Just admit that not every fucking room wants to actually hear your fucking opinion. Let the women cook. And as a matter of fact, at this point, go call all the women in your family and tell them that you're fucking sorry. Because I know damn well that you are a terrible fucking partner. I'm definitely qualified to talk about men's issues. Like, is male pattern baldness actually that big of a deal? Like, maybe if you took better care of your hair. Like, you're letting yourself go. Low testosterone, oh my god. Like, you're just fat and lazy.
I don't even know how it went off into that other way there, but there's a fascinating kind of tribalism that is being revealed here, because as much as I'm playing the devil's advocate, and I do firmly believe that postpartum depression is a thing, as we've got the hormonal proof of it. It is actually a genuine hormonal balance, and we know that hormonal balances within human beings can do whacked up fucking things to people. Like crazy, genuinely absurd shit, okay? So, I'm happy to believe that that could be an extenuating circumstance and drive you absolutely barking fucking mad to the point where the most heinous monstrous act suddenly seems like a brilliant fucking idea. But if that was to be the argument, then they would simply make the argument. This woman isn't making an argument, as can be demonstrated by the fact that she uses the word fuck 4 times in every sentence. It is a purely defensive reaction, because they're viewing this as the revelation of a weakness. And this is what this is the weird thing, right? Because if this was truly just a clinical observation, then all you would need to do is indeed the clinical observation. It would be the woman saying, okay, listen, this is actually a hormonal imbalance. It does things with your brain. It fucks with the brain chemistry. It changes your personality. Okay. Instead, it is, you don't have standing to argue this point. Well, is biology suddenly something now that isn't based on science? I thought we'd proven that there were 50 genders, etc. What a weird position to take up. This feels far more defensive of the monstrousness of the act rather than explaining it. I don't know if I'm wording myself correctly, but it doesn't feel like they're making the explanatory argument. They're making the, oh gosh, this is a secret we somehow have to cover up argument instead. Which feels really fucking weird to me. Like chat says, that TikTok boom, it's not malice, it's malice, not stupidity. And yeah, that's what it kind of feels like. It feels malicious at that point. I'm getting the evil vibes now. I'm not getting the explanation vibes. I'm not getting the reasonable explanation or even the defense of somebody who understands what happened vibe. I'm just getting evil. You know? So I think that is a large part of the reason why so many people have reacted stridently to this as well. And then we return to the father, which is yet again one of those things like, okay, you're clearly casting around now for some other theory, some other explanation for why this happened. And the explanation given to you, the explanation admitted to, etc., for some reason isn't acceptable to you. And we can then tell quite a lot by the target chosen to then levy the accusation against. Not the doctors, not the patriarchal legal system, or not giving her enough time off for postnatal care, etc., etc. The husband. Why? Why the husband? Unless this is, again, somehow an instinctual feminine defensive reaction of some sort. It's really weird. Actually, Juan Fox there in chat says, because it's not dramatic enough. Actually, you know, that's actually kind of a good idea. The natural need for drama. I actually like that as an explanation. Because this is a common thing, especially in women, and in men too, honestly, in men too. This is the root of a lot of conspiracy theories, for example, where quite often we don't want to accept the simple explanation because it's not interesting enough. And so we might come up with something more interesting to satisfy us. 9/11 was a beautiful example of that. So I'm not rejecting that as a quick and easy explanation either for this weird and massive overreacting to it. It's societal conditioning. Oh, that's another one too, yes. So this is kind of what I'm leading more towards here. The societal conditioning of this isn't a crime that is feminine coded, right? This is an entirely normal perception of the world, by the way. We see it in our legal system constantly. I've talked about this many times before on stream and videos, where you can see very clearly that the modern day judicial system treats women very differently than men. They on average get significantly lighter punishments, and they on average get away with a lot more shit than men would ever do. They also know this and often act in ways that most men would consider ridiculous and absurd. That would obviously get them in far, far more trouble again. Because they do understand that they are protected. They do understand that. And so this also becomes a non-rational understanding, where if you understand that you are protected by privilege, you tend to not want to recognize this. This is a point that the left is entirely correct on, by the way. The idea that the privileged are blind to their own privilege, abso-fucking-lutely. And you can see this with women, especially so, where they don't view this as a crime that a woman could commit. And so they reject the reality of it outright, out of hand, and then blame another person. In this case, the man, because it's the nearest tribal enemy, in essence. I think that's also why it's been so widespread and such like a knee-jerk reaction. It's not thought out, it's not logical, it is very much so a defending of the femininity. Which again, I think that's the clue. A defense of the feminine, as if they themselves reactionally, instinctually, perhaps more correctly, understand that this is a feminine crime, first and foremost, too. Conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theories aplenty. Oh, Philip Fanuff on Kick. For 1,000 warp tokens, she sent her husband to the market, the pharmacy, then murdered the children, even under SSRI. It's hard to contest premeditation. Oh, absolutely. It's impossible to contest premeditation. Again, she'd obviously laid out a plan for doing this. No doubt whatsoever. This was obviously intentional, and she obviously had designs on doing this very thing. But premeditation does not exclude depression. So, there's the rub again. But again, like I said, those should only be viewed as mutilating circumstances? No, that's not the term. Mitigating. There we go. Fucking fancy lingo. So Dr. Doppelganger, that beep needs the death penalty if she gets off. I hope someone beeps. Beep, beep, beep. That's my new censorship button. I can't imagine she'll get off. Again, like, she obviously did it. Obviously. It was obviously premeditated. She must be convicted.
You ignorant slut.
Obviously. Duh. Like, unquestionably. Surely. Even the modern-day legal system could not possibly let this walk. I no. I'm not even... Like, listen, again, she's not like Anthony Fauci, okay? Anthony Fauci is gonna walk, but she's gonna get convicted of something. But I imagine it's going to be a very lenient sentence. A very lenient sentence as well. To the point where it might not even be much of a sentence at all. Nolly, tickets printed and hotel booked. I'll be seeing you in Vegas, Archie. Hope you're having a great time in the US. I hope I'll have a great time in the US as well. I'm looking forward to see you in there, Nolly. Tanushi, whether or not she was insane during the deed, she still ended the 3 children. She is proven deranged. The state has to terminate her for that. Whether it is execution or euthanasia, Conker's fund. Is the death penalty even legal over there, though? I know there's some states that has the death penalty, right? I don't know if she's in one of them. I'm not aware of the status of that. Reverend Norse, she went to a specialist postpartum clinic and was not admitted because she did not have any postpartum complication symptoms. Luminous wants fund. Oh, I did not know that. From what I understood from the articles I read, she had received some form of basic medication. And that she was blaming that medication for her depression, supposedly. Now, whether or not that is actually true, that is up to wiser minds to decide. Hopefully, anyways. Did not have any signs. Now, to be fair, determining symptoms as well is one of those crapshoot kind of things where a lack of symptom does not mean that you are lacking in the, thing itself. But not displaying any of them is definitely very, very sussy-wussy. Philip Fornov, for another 500 warp tokens, thank you, sir. The Histrionics needs to believe they are the only true actor in the story the protagonist complex may be. Partially. It's not so much protagonist complex as it is human behavior. Humans are, largely, from nature's side, incapable of understanding error in their own actions. Or, at the very least, it requires a lot for them to be willing to understand and accept that error. It's very, 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 very rare. And weirdly enough, usually also a sign of high IQ. So that's kind of the mad thing, right? Most people have a emotional understanding of when they have committed an error, but they will usually be able to talk themselves out of the error being their fault. And this is entirely instinctual. It's because the ego wishes to protect itself. It doesn't want to damage itself. And that is very much so what happens if you begin thinking that something is your fault. Now, depending upon the scale of the apparent crime, that varies. And we've got psychological evidence of this. Something like a small child, for example, destroying something around the house. Like if a kid breaks a vase, then that's a major thing. It's huge, and you're worried about it, and you're scared and frightened, and you don't want to tell anybody because you'll get in trouble. That is like a higher reaction, and so you'll justify not telling people about that. Whereas if you as an adult break something at your parents' home, right, you'll go like, oops, and then you'll go get the dustbin and sweep up the glass. And that's it, because it's no longer a serious thing. Therefore, it is our perception of the problem, the crime, that determines our reaction and how protective we get against it. As the exact same action can be realized as an error with ease, depending upon the consequences of aforementioned actions. Now, most people tend to rationalize away their own error. But those who unfortunately happen to be intelligent enough to recognize that when they're doing this, they tend to analyze that and double down on their error, which is why most geniuses end up fucking murdering themselves over the years, or just becoming clinically depressed as well. There is a certain amount of truth to the old saying that it is bliss to be dumb. Now, this is also emotional, first and foremost, which is why I imagine, and I don't imagine, I'm pulling this one straight out of my ass, this is a pure hypothesis here, but I imagine women are probably extra defensive when it comes to things like this, which is, again, why you see such a strident reaction here, with so many women going, nope, 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 she couldn't have done it, because if she could do it, then I could do it, and I don't want to think about that. I'm going to make up any other reason I can other than that being my fault, or possibly my fault. And which is why she delves off into random rants against men at the end of that too, which is mildly weird. So less protagonist complex and more normal human reaction, but dialed up to female, which is quite a lot of dialing. Quite a lot of dialing indeed. Dr. T Money Dog for $300. Christ, thank you very much, sir. Because I have free will and a bonus this month, Vintage Story Fund. A veritism game, but one you can tell is made with passion. Also, these women defend her are nuts. They don't want to find out what happened. They want to assign blame to someone else. Correct, yes. They wish to assign blame. That is what they're doing here. This is not a logical interpretation of event or trying to figure out what happened. This is very much so an assigning of blame, and most importantly of all, it is assigning the blame away from themselves. That's the core ingredient, not my blame. Vintage Story Fund. Vintage Story. Vintage Story game? I have found some kind of Minecraft-looking thing.
You ignorant slut.
And the Lum Lum pops in with the ignorant slut for some reason. This thing? Vintage Story. Wilderness Survival Sandbox. I've never even heard about this. Uncompromising Wilderness Survival Sandbox, inspired by Eldritch horror themes. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Very, very well. I wasn't aware Minecraft was an Eldritch horror themed game, but okay. I shall note that down. Eldritch horror themes. I mean, it fits what we're talking about, if nothing else. It fits that to a T. It's like Minecraft, but for survival autists. Oh, good. I'll be completely painfully lost. It's not fucking... It looks like Minecraft, chat. Calm yourself. Untangle your upsetty spaghetti. Martinez, when will we see Revenge of Father Gregory? Well, funny you should ask that. Soon. Very soon, in fact. Or, whilst you may not see the Revenge of Father Gregory himself right away, you are going to be seeing what he's been up to, whilst the players have been busy. And Father Gregory has been very busy. Very, very busy. Very, very, very busy. Which you'll get to see tomorrow as I begin torturing the party again. They've become far too complacent with themselves. Far too complacent with themselves. And so, we're going to go back to the roots and make them sad. Put them in nice, spooky environments. Nice supernatural horror nonsense, and maybe it's time we kill at least one of them. I'm really thinking it might be high time we kill at least one of them. Yes, the politicking was too complex for their tiny brains. It unironically was. I was kind of sitting there thinking to myself, well, you know, if we put the Whammons in a political situation, perhaps their little Whammon brains will wrap around the question and begin to do Whammon things. And Porker's brain functioned very well in that regard, to the point where they decided to absolutely mind destroy Werner von Braun. And by the way, yes, no, he is going to suffer from serious long-term brain damage and psychosis after what they did to him, but I guess that's not something we'll need to worry about anymore. So we'll send them back to get shot at and punished adequately. I vote Num. What, for who's gonna die? Their own actions may determine that. Wrecked the Hull for $20. Thank you for your donation, sir. The doctors threw pills at her when she was seeking help and asked to be committed to an asylum multiple times, but none of them will be held liable. You cannot hate Big Pharma or SSRIs enough. So, there's the thing too, right? I did hear that she indeed wished to be committed. Let's see if I can find the... Yes, here we go.
trick or treat. Can
That's
I
the
smell
one.
your feet?
So, another part of it comes from this here. So, the mother-in-law claims that she was begging for help, that she felt unwell, anxious, and wasn't sleeping on losing her appetite, etc. So, supposedly, there were efforts made to try and get help, and the doctors then didn't do anything, and they simply wanted to try some different pills, etc. And I can believe it. I can absolutely believe it, because the medical system, and bear you in mind, these are obviously, again, like the claims of a person who is directly involved in this, with a direct relations to the person, so pinch of salt, etc. But in my experience, the medical system is one out of two things. It is either extremely effective or it is extremely ineffective. And there is virtually nothing in the middle of that. Oh, hello, V. How are you doing today?
Hello. I saw you alone. I thought you may need a co-host.
I wouldn't mind. I've just been renting a chat for a while now.
So, what's the topic?
I was talking about how women are both demons and not also responsible for their actions at the same time.
Yeah, you're talking about the child killer.
The child killer, yes.
Caught the attention of the news, yeah. Do you know what I noticed that is very interesting? You know all those women that were in front of the courthouse, you know, that were showing solidarity. They're all wearing the same shirt. They're all doing the same hand gestures. And the question is, like, who's paying for that?
Good question. It might also
But
just be like a spontaneous thing, because to be fair, pink is the feminine color, and so there's a bunch of women. And here's the thing, because my theory of why women are rallying around this is basically a shared sense of gender-based guilt and fear that, like, oh, this happened to her, this could happen to me, I've got to push the blame away from myself. It's basically a low IQ reaction to a thing.
Possibly. I mean, there are certain issues here. First of all, a lot of the women on TikTok probably do it because it's free retweets, likes, and cash. Like, if all I need is to take my son and go in front of a phone for 10 seconds and look into the camera, and then I know I make $100 for that, like, I would be a fucking retard not to do it. You know, like, I would get my wife to do it if I knew that's what's trending and that's what's making, good bucks. So there's a lot of grifting involved and a lot of cynicism and a lot of mental illness as well. Like, there are certain women that genuinely, unironically, do what you're saying. And then there's the group that unironically think she didn't do it. And with those, like, I don't think they're necessarily evil. Like, okay, you don't trust the government. It's like, okay, she confessed, but the way the American justice system works, it's like you get a prosecutor and it's like, bitch, you get the chair. I'm gonna give you the chair, bitch. You're gonna fry. But if you confess, you get 10 years. And so a lot of people can just confess, you know? And so, like, those feminists may actually believe that she didn't do it. I think she did it. But, like, I can understand someone that's on her side because it's like, well, I think she's innocent, versus someone that's on her side because she didn't do nothing. Like, no, it's not her fault. It's literally the system, it's society to blame, you know?
Well, I definitely think there's a lot of good old-fashioned female hive mind involved in all of this.
Yes.
And I do also think that this is like a very female fear as well, because this isn't really a thing that men do. It's very rare for a man to just kill his kid for reasons. But for women, I imagine this is a very real fear for a lot of them. And so the low IQ response then is to get very defensive. It's like, oh no, this couldn't happen. It must be something else.
I can tell you as a doctor what's going on here. Like, there's several issues. First of all, humanity is actually not built for the Western way of life, where you have a single woman that's at home raising the kid. Like, this is just no. A child traditionally was raised by at least 8 people. You have the grandfathers involved, which the Anglosphere absolutely despises. But if the woman wants to chimp out, like, there are 4 other people that gets that bitch away from the child immediately, right? Like when you live in a home where the grandparents and the parents are there. Secondly, another issue is with C-sex. When you have a C-sec, it actually does trigger postpartum depression because a lot of the hormones aren't eliminated from the body, and the body generally feels as if it lost the pregnancy. And so a lot of women do chimp out after a C-sec, which the doctors now recommend instead of natural birth. On top of that, when a woman has the gloomies, she is immediately medicated. Like, you just pump pills into her. Some of them are actual psychotics. And then you also have the sleep deprivation, right? Because, like, if you have a woman that's the only one raising the kid, and I know what happened to my wife, it's like every single 2 hours during the night she needs to wake up, which, again, causes irritability and bursts of anger. But my wife wasn't alone. Like, I was here. My grandparents were also here. So, like, it was a lot easier. Sorry, her grandparents were... Her parents were also here, which helped with raising the kid. Now, this doesn't excuse what she did. Like, the bitch needs to fry. I don't say that, but like at the same time, a normal adult should be like a normal adult should be able to hold like 2 things in their mind at the same time. Bitch needs to fry, but also the doctors have to be audited. Like, were those pills necessary? You know, like, is it okay to actually give mind-altering drugs to women like candy? Like, when are we going to have that conversation, you know? Like, while she is frying, we can also talk about that. And for some reason, like, people go like, no, like, we can't have that conversation. And so, imagine if you're, like, a normal woman, right? Just, you're not killing your baby or anything, but you are concerned. You feel, like, really tired and exhausted for having to wake up every single hour in the night. And you're looking on the internet, like, trying to see what other people think, you know, how they deal. And then you see, like, a childless troll on Twitter that just says, well, the whore just needs to learn to cope, you know? And it's like, I don't think like there's anything that will make that woman a feminist more than seeing that. And I see a lot of the Fuentes types which genuinely think like that, and they are like a factory, an assembly line for creating feminists.
The C-section point is a very good one, though. And yes, so what I was going to get to, because I agree, I don't even think she needs to fry. I'm very much so of the opinion that she did it, she must be found guilty, and then there must be mitigating circumstances taken into consideration. Like, if she did this whilst actually suffering from postpartum depression, okay, that's a mitigating circumstance, absolutely. The argument that she was insane in the moment when she committed the act holds a certain degree of water. And then the doctors need to be checked, like, okay, what did you give her? What are the side effects of this? And when you start reading the back of the pill bottle, it's like, oh, hello. But because in my experience, doctors are one out of 2 things. They're either really good at their jobs and actually do give a fuck, in which case they actually give you very good care and they check out upon you and they make sure that the drugs are actually working. My father's cancer treatment, for example, the doctor has been great by basically constantly checking, switching out medication that doesn't function well with the system, that makes him feel ill or nauseous, etc., and trying different things. Meanwhile, my grandmother literally died because her doctor didn't give a fuck and didn't test anything. And hell, the only reason why my dad actually got cancer as far progressed in the first place was because his old doctor didn't bother checking for that kind of cancer. He was taking monthly blood checks anyways, and he just didn't bother checking the box for testicular cancer.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you what's on the other side of the medical practice, especially if it's a public healthcare doctor. You're not the customer, right? The government is the customer. Like, the government is paying you to heal people, and so you don't really care that much as if you're in a private clinic. But secondly, it's like when you have hundreds of patients a month, you don't really have the time to actually sit and look at everyone because the volume of patients is overwhelming. And so what also doctors do is like they really love pharmaceutical companies. I don't know like how many people know, but like as a doctor, you have your holiday, which is your paid vacation. But you also have a couple of days where you can go to symposiums and you can travel abroad to other places. And Big Pharma comes in and they say, hey, wouldn't you like to travel to Vienna to this medical congress? Like, we're going to pay for everything. Now, it's not implied that you have to sell them their pills. But If you don't sell them their pills, you're not invited next year, right? And for many doctors, like, that's a free vacation. It's like, all you have to do is to sell the pills. Now, obviously, the pills can have side effects, or obviously, like, maybe the patient could have gotten better without the pills, but who's going to give a shit, It's like, just do the prescription. I mean, they're authorized by the FDA. Just give the pills out and go to Vienna, have your mom, go to the symposium, and then you go and you see the sites. And a lot of doctors do that.
Doctors are evil.
Absolutely, because they work for the government. No good person works for the government, Arch. By
That is
definition,
true.
if you're a good person, you do not work for the government.
That is true. That is actually literally true. My cousin works for the government, and she's the biggest tax whore out there. The biggest tax thief.
Right?
Yep.
And I bet she felt slim. Yeah.
Yep. No, it's terrible.
Yeah. It is.
What was I had other points I was talking about here, but the doctors, there should absolutely be checks into the doctors on this. As the rest of this, I'd chalk most of this up to female hive mind, honestly. And she needs to be convicted. She needs to have the book thrown at her, and then mitigating circumstances will be investigated later. Like, I want more people convicted of this, not just her. I want a dozen people going to jail, preferably.
Yeah.
More people in jail. That's what we need, chat. Always.
To be fair, though, like, probably the doctors aren't going to have anything happen to them because they follow the protocol. But, like, the people making the protocol are the problem. Like, you can just go up the ladder. Eventually, you find someone.
I'm entirely fine with purging all of them from the system.
Yeah, but, like, to be honest, I'm not an optics cock, as they call them, But I do see a lot of takes now. It's like, women are child killer. And I'm, like, thinking, how is that not the feminist version of all men are rapists? Right? Because, yes, like, men rape, like, more than women. But that doesn't mean that you can say all men are rapists, or that men in general like rape. And it's the same thing. It's like, women are child killer. It's like, yeah, but, like, majority of women aren't, because if they were, humanity wouldn't exist. Like, if it doesn't even have to be every single woman. If even, like, a majority of a minority, like, let's say 30% or so. If 30% of women were to actually, like, want to kill their kids, you wouldn't have a humanity. You wouldn't be able to, right? Or we at least would have, practices like, once she's a mother, lock her up in a cage, like, keep her away from the kid, But, like, we don't have that because, like, most women actually do love their kids.
Yeah, and that's what I argued as well. That this is a uniquely female crime, or very close, anyways. In the same way that rape is a near uniquely male crime. It's biology. It happens.
Yeah. I did hear the cope, which is like, well, they happen like abortions. They're murderers. They kill. Like, first of all, most people don't view it like that. Secondly, there are so many men that I know personally which had a kid when they were 18 and they were trying to beg their girlfriend to get an abortion. So it's not a women exclusive issue. Like, men, if they could, they would get abortions as well. And I'm willing to bet there are a lot of men that are pro-choice because they fuck a lot of bitches and they realize that if abortion became a thing, they would be in a lot of trouble. It's true.
Mayhaps. Yep. But yeah, that's more or less the take on Lindsay Clancy thing. It speaks more to women as a hive mind, and a low IQ one as well, in my opinion. And we'll see how it goes from there. Oh, by the way, another little big thing that's been going on today. I take it you've been keeping a little eye on the Grand Theft Auto leaks?
Yes.
That is funny. That is very funny. Can you imagine how many... Okay, right. So Netflix had the exclusive rights to reveal gameplay on like the 27th, right?
Correct.
How many millions of dollars do you think that cost?
I don't know. For GTA, probably quite a lot.
That's gotta have been tens of millions, I think.
I think it really affects Netflix, right? Because why did Netflix do this? To get viewership, right? Is there a single person that saw the leaks and now they would have watched Netflix and now they say no, because I saw the leaks? I think like people will still see the Netflix thing, so they won't chalk it up as a loss.
I disagree. So the thing is, preceding the leaks, the view of GTA 6 was almost like a mythical thing, and people were imagining there would be all kinds of crazy things, and they said people had built up so much hype in their minds that they'd convinced themselves of all kinds of incredible stuff. And now that they've seen the leaks, people look at that and go like, well, it's just GTA.
Yeah, it didn't look like the trailer, did it?
No, it didn't look like the trailer. It doesn't look particularly incredible. Like, it's just a Grand Theft Auto game where you can do the things you do in every other Grand Theft Auto game.
Minus the hookers, the strippers, and jokes about trannies, yeah.
Yeah.
You won't be able to do those.
And so I feel like a lot of people who would have been tuning into the Netflix thing because they were just that incredibly excited for the next snippet of anything will have looked at that and gone, eh?
Yeah. Do you know what's interesting? What if the leaks are from like minimal resolution, minimal graphics? It's like an alpha version of the game, and the actual game looks better.
Probably are. Like, first and foremost, they uploaded, right? So you've got artifacting, obviously.
Yes.
Then you've probably, and the thing is, the very interesting thing is, judging by the input, it looks like it's not from a console version. It looks like it might be from the PC version.
Most likely, yeah.
Now, that might mean...
by the way.
Oh, thank you. That might mean that, one, it's...
No, Arch, don't thank me. The game is going to cost $100.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I know. The $100... Cow. Kill yourself. Where was I? That's a fucking good question, isn't it? That's a great question. Yes. So the PC version is going to be earlier in development, probably. And so it's not going to have quite the same graphical fidelity. Maybe. But this also means that if he does what he's threatened to do, which is the Dead Man Switch release of the game onto the internet, probably onto all of the pirating sites and so on, that would mean that it would be the PC version, which would be a far wider reach.
Is he from India, Arch? Did he went like, sir, please check the leaks. They're really good, sir.
I would actually say no. Because, okay, I too was like, oh, well, he's obviously an Indian to begin with. But the current rumor going around, which we'll see if it's just made up or not, is that he has burned all of the cryptocurrency he's been shilling. Which means that he just shut himself out of like $1 million payday.
Indians aren't with crypto, right? Indians are with call centers and tech support.
Yeah, but that was still like $1 million fucking bucks, supposedly, that he just wiped out. So, that's not a very Indian thing to do.
Kind of lowers the ZAR, doesn't it?
Yeah, it lowers the ZAR a lot.
Is it called ZAR?
I don't know.
I think it's ZAT.
I wish to avoid it as much as possible. But yeah, I don't get Indian vibes anymore. I'm getting maybe, I don't know, disgruntled employee, maybe?
I think it's Indian.
Somebody who just really hates Rockstar. I hope it's a Canadian.
Probatio ad diabolica. Indian until proven otherwise.
Maybe, but I want it to be I wanted to be a Canadian or an Indian, and I wanted to be somebody who did this for like some kind of political reasons. Yes,
it has to be a spurg. It has to be a spurg. Someone extremely ideologically possessed. So it's either going to be an Indian or it's going to be an LGBT activist. It's not going to be a normal person. Like, you're not going to see, like someone level-headed that did this.
Yes, because a couple of years ago, you remember, Rockstar ordered all of the employees to get back to work because everybody was working from home and, not working. And they were really upset about that, which is hilarious to me, by the way. It's like, you have to do your job. Why? It's 2024. I thought we were over that. But apparently not.
Yeah, that might be like someone that got fired, or like sometimes there can be people that do it just for the lulz. Although in this case, they can't understand they were going to go to prison.
I mean, they go to prison if they're lucky. Let's make one thing perfectly clear here. This guy goes to prison if he's very lucky. Otherwise, he's just going to get disappeared into some fucking Black Ops program and had terrible things done to his asshole.
You think Rockstar is that influential?
I think they have that much money at this point in time. And they're gonna catch him, by the way. They're gonna catch him.
Do you think they have a fund for, like, let's fuck with this guy pot?
Probably.
Like $5 million just to fuck with this guy? Like, these are the resources we allocate in order to make someone's life miserable. Can you imagine, like, being a corporation that's like a multi-million-dollar enterprise, and you just, like, set money aside, like, I want to ruin this guy's life. I want him to despise the fact that he was born. I want him to curse his mother every day of his life. That's what I want you to do to him.
Yes,
here's the money.
Because remember, the previous guy who hacked Rockstar, he wasn't given jail. I think he was he British, I think. 18-year-old, Oxford. 18-year-old autistic kid who hacked into Rockstar. So normally, this would be a fine, of course. Yeah, probably a substantial one, and some years in jail, right? No. They handed him an indefinite hospital order, which means they've declared him crazy and can keep him for however the fuck long they want.
Did he get out?
Nope, he's still in.
Get the fuck out. No, I'll check on ChatGPT. Hold on. How should I prompt it? Was there a guy that hacked Rockstar and he was forced in a mental asylum? Check the internet for sources.
Oh, yeah. Aryan Kutaj was his name.
That is such a fucking badass name. Arch, if you ever have kids, you need to call them that. Not the Aryan.
No, because he'll be stuck in jail forever.
Yeah, but not because he's an Aryan.
But he's in there forever now. He's in permanent jail in England, where it's not even legal. He will die in there, but only after they have filled him with every single narcotic and hallucinogen imaginable. He's basically Scarecrow's like test puppet for the rest of his life.
So apparently, you're remembering Aryo Kurta, a British member of the La Puce hacking group. The story is real, although he hacked Rockstar and they put him in asylum. Leaves out an important part of what happened. He's responsible for the spectacular 2020 Rockstar game breach. The psychiatric part is also real. Oh yeah, apparently, holy shit, right. He used an Amazon Fire TV stick, the hotel television, a mobile phone, a keyboard, and a mouse in order to hack them.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, already he was under police protection, right? He was under police custody and house arrest. And he actually used an Amazon Fire TV stick and the hotel TV in order to, like, hack Rockstar again. The psychiatric part is also real. Doctors determined that he was not fit to stand trial. So the jury did not give a guilty, not guilty verdict. Instead, it determined that he had actually carried out the illegal act. So he's given a restricted hospital order for an unlimited period under Section 37 and 41 of the Mental Health Act.
Yep.
No, he's not in the hospital today. Apparently, he is out of the secure psychiatric hospital, but not out of custody. BBC cyber reporter Joe Tiddy. How the fuck is his name, Joe Tiddy? Reported in July 2026 that Kurtaj has been transferred from the secure hospital into a normal prison, where he is awaiting conventional criminal retrial scheduled November 2026.
November 2026. So again, he's going to be in jail forever. They're going to pump his ass full of every fucking hallucinogen on the planet. And if he's actually out of there, he probably cracked and finally told them where the crypto was hidden or something. Or they forced him to kill his mother with a spoon or something like that. Like something absolutely horrific happened. And the leak guy is going to get it worse. Okay? God. Bottom line is, he's cost Rockstar millions and millions and millions. And I wouldn't be surprised if pre-order cancellations spike violently as well, because people now realize it's just a video game. And what would be very funny, of course, is if this also affected the sales of the game. Because again, I think a lot of people pre-ordered it based on the hype, and when they see it is just GTA, oh, God. I hope it craters it.
No, Arch. If it's a third and it's called GTA, it will sell.
I know, but I hope this'll at least drop like 250,000 copies of the sales statistic or something.
The same is for Witcher.
I want to see Rockstar release a tweet saying, "We've reached 1 million players."
Do you know what would make The Witcher not sell? I think if it's buggy as Cyberpunk. Like, that's the only way it's not going to sell. And I don't get it, Arch. I don't get it. You know, like, I played The Witcher, and I like that it was so fucking medieval. Like, you had actual racism in it, you know? Like, it was one of the most racist games ever. It's like you're friends with a dwarf, and they want to shave his beard and beat the living shit out of him. And then you had, like, the miller's daughter, and they wanted to rape her. You know, they wanted to rape the bitch. And then you get to play, and you get to fuck her instead, and you get to collect that card, and there's a witch in town, and they want to burn the witch, and you get to fuck that too. And then there's, like, you know, racism towards elves, and there's, like, this elven chick that's, like, oppressed and shit, and you get to fuck her, Arch. You get to fuck everything. How can you do this in Witcher 4? Like, they can't have anything about racismus because they have safety to concern, right? And then you can't have, like, a fucking a woman because you got no fucking penis. Like, you're playing with a lesbo, for fuck's sakes. You can do some pussy licking over there, but they won't even show that. And it's fucking disgusting. Look at her face, Arch. It looks like a fucking man.
And that's the point, V. Witcher 4 is going to have you seducing men, V. You're going to sit there, and you're going to play the game and press the buttons so that a cock may enter you. This is the ultimate final gay conversion therapy for you to sit there and actively pursue penis, chat. You will be made to virtually sucketh the cocketh.
I'm willing to bet, like, there's going to be a little bit of misogyny, but, like, she will immediately, like, give that feminine look and put him into his place because in a medieval society they understand that Californian morality is uber alles.
And you'll do that too. The Witcher 4 will be a continuous humiliation experience for the player. You will be the angry feminist. You will be the one pursuing the penis. You, chat, you will do that. You will be made to do it.
I'm curious, like, if there's going to be at least one girl that's hot. Because, like, Chris Marigold was smoking hot in Witcher 2, right? And I'm curious if there's going to be just one woman that will make me not want to gouge my eyes out.
If there is, she won't be romanceable.
Oh, they do that. Yeah, they do that as well, right? Like, they did that in the, what was it, like, Owl Games 40K? Where you have, like, the only chick that's looking good. And in Baldur's Gate as well, like, there was that flying bitch, and she had, like, some lesbo action over there with another chick. And she was hot, and you can't romance her.
No. You can't, because this is about you being cocked, not anything else. You will take the dick, V, and you will be thankful for it.
You know, like, that's the thing. Like, I actually like playing as female characters in almost every game, because, like, I'm not gay. Like, I like looking at the woman's ass when I'm playing, right? Like, I'm not the character. I'm not mentally retarded. Like, I know there's a difference between the character and myself, and so may as well, you know, see some fucking big tits and plop ass while I'm playing. But, like, when you have romance options, like in Dragon Age or, like, in Mass Effect, right? Like, I can't play a chick, because then I have to go for dudes, and then, okay, then that would be gay. And so instead,
Are you
I
ready
play a
to
male
wreck
character.
this yellow
In every
mare
single RPG,
cluttery
I play a
putter
male
with
character,
my-
right? Because I want to do the romance. In The Witcher 4, I'm not going to do the romance. It's not going to happen.
You assume you'll be given a choice.
Ouch. I have a question, which one of my subscribers asked, and you're a really good philosopher and may actually solve this. If you're having sex with a sex bot, and there's a guy controlling the sex bot, like an Indian in a call center, is that gay?
It's gay for him. It's not gay for you.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, this is what I've been saying, right? And it's probably even better because, like, a man knows exactly how to control that bitch. Like he knows exactly what to do, yeah. But like for him, it's gay. You're absolutely right. But it's not gay for you because like you're like if you were gay, why would you have a female robot? Like you just go for a male robot.
Correct. It's gay for him, but it's not gay for you. And if we can somehow reduce the entire subcontinent of India into nothing but remote-controlled wife operators, I'm all for it. That'd be fun. That'd be funny, in fact. Let's do it.
Dude, can you think about it? Like, you have not seen Lust. Like, when you go on Facebook and you see an Indian man talking to a white woman. Like, there is a level of lust there that is very difficult to reproduce, even by, like, our teenage standards, right? And you take that man, that's, like, the only thing he's thinking about is sex, and you put him in charge of a sex bot. Like, that is, like, he's made for that. Like, even when he's off clock, he still thinks about his job.
Now, I admit, it's still a bit weird, and your enthusiasm for it is a bit disturbing. But I still agree with the core central point of the theses.
Gay for him.
Gay for him.
Asmongold brought it up, and I had to think about it.
Although, let me be very clear here, okay? So, we're probably no less than 10 years away from sex bots at this point, because we've hit the point where they would function through AI and be fairly convincing. All we need now is the hardware, and, well, eventually for the hardware to be profitable and be affordable, which is going to take a while. But that means that we're probably 5 years away from massive regulations, okay? There's going to be maybe a year or two of the earliest prototypes, which won't be regulated to hell. Everything past that is not only going to be regulated, but subscription services, all right? Imagine this. You have to rent out a personality for your robot waifu. You've got to pay Amazon, Microsoft, whatever, 20 fucking bucks for this. Like a sour charge fee. You want your waifu to have the personality of Raven from Teen Titans, you gotta add on 10 bucks to DC on top of that. And if you ever miss a payment, they'll brick your wife's brain.
Yeah, can you imagine the moral concerns there? It's like, oh, but what if you dress it as a schoolgirl? My goodness, you need to ban, restrict.
Oh, don't worry. They will retain taking care of that. It's already illegal to sell, sex dolls that don't look adult. So don't worry. That's already taken care of.
No, but it's going to be like someone that generally wants a maid and wants to make her like a cat girl or some shit, or like his anime waifu character.
Service
It's like,
guaranteed
Sa, your waifu character is 17. Sa, you can't have Sailor Moon. Sa, you pedophile. We need to put you in prison.
Well, of course. They will sit a fat Karen with glasses determining how old your sex bot is.
It's not only that, right? You're afraid about subscription, which obviously is going to be a thing. And if you say the N-word in your house, you're going to be in a TOS violation. But
Is the question. Fire is
imagine the
answer.
data it can collect. And it's not like, oh, the government has access to your data. No. Imagine your wife files a divorce, and during discovery, they open your waifu's brain. And they're going to be right. When is the time that he screamed at me? Like, I want every single argument we had in the last 5 years to be compiled into a video and cut off what I said, just keep when he is unreasonable, and we can show that in front of a jury.
Well, of course, but that's only really become a problem when they give the robots rights. That's when that'll be fun.
Raven is a child, Arch. You're not going
Raven's like 6,000 years old.
And you think they will care?
I care.
Do you think the moral majority are reasonable people, Arch?
Well, yes. You know what? I think that by the time we actually arrive at sex bots, there's going to be such a unified male majority going, I don't know if I want to bother with humans anymore, that they'll form a voting bloc. See, this is the problem with the right wing, V. We don't have a cathedral like the left does. We don't have a unified purpose or a point of principle or a doctrine that we all slavishly follow. We need one. And the robot waifus will be it.
We have Sargon of Akkad.
That's a loose cathedral. It's drifting too much. We need a more firmly founded cathedral.
Listen, all jokes aside and sex bots aside, I do believe that in the future everyone is going to have a robot because there's a lot of people that are childless and they're going to grow old and have no family, and instead of going to an elderly person's home, they will want something that cleans and cooks for them and wipes their ass. And so I think like the same way people make loans to buy a car, you're going to have people buying robots. And it's going to be extremely popular. And it's going to also be extremely intrusive because everything you do in your house is going to be uploaded in a cloud. And then the government can just buy the cloud.
Of course, but
so,
I've already accepted that. Listen, China already knows all of your porn games, all of your proclivities. They're already monitoring your browser history. Chrome already knows, chat, all of the deviant, disgusting shit you beat your meat to. Just accept it.
Yeah, but it's different because if someone sues you, right, they can use discovery in order to look at the bot. There's already like so many lawsuits and people generally don't know. Like they talk to ChatGPT as if it's the psychiatrist, and then the wife demands the logs and they take it out of context and they make it look awful in front of a jury. To the point where what's his guy name that had the lawsuit against Alisa? Smash JT, right? Smash JT had that. Like he actually used the ChatGPT as a lawyer, and then during discovery, like they asked for the logs that he used on ChatGPT, and they were used against him at trial. Because like the robot or the AI is not a professional lawyer or psychiatrist, which actually has to keep some information confidential, and the judge can literally just ask them. And if you have a robot in your house that sees everything, like imagine a case of, I don't know, like child neglect or whatever. Even if you didn't do it, they can literally just go for any type of event where you raised your voice or you already screamed or you lost your temper. And then they can compile an entire thing and use it at a court. And then the wife takes the kids and she takes half your shit. And there's that.
But V, you are looking at this the wrong way.
Goodness gracious, they think so.
Remember, as well, we also have other laws. Marriage laws, where no person who is married, has been married, may give evidence as against the other spouse. And there's no laws against marrying the dishwasher.
That's true.
Problem solved. My ChatGPT may not testify against me because I have sex with ChatGPT. There you go.
By the way, Arch, I have a request. If you have any of your subscribers that can make maps out of assets, I would have a job for them. Assets. Like I give them chairs and furniture and shit, and they have to make a room. They like doing that shit for Dungeons and Dragons. For stuff like that, you know.
Just use incarnate like a normal human being.
I'm not a very creative person. I like to commission. I like to support the economy, raise the GDP.
I repeat, just use incarnate like a human being.
No. Never used it. I don't know how.
See, I've been playing with that. So this is the latest map I made in Incarnate. And then I simply just passed it over to Grok and went like, right, make it look professional. And look what it made. It's fucking beautiful.
Hold on, let me check the... It is beautiful, but see, the problem is I don't want to use AI for my game.
What are you, some kind of fucking Philistine?
No, I'm not going to use AI in my game art. I wanna pay people for a living.
Well, that's the problem.
I like the map. It's got a lot of defensive positions.
It does. It does that.
It does have a problem though. There'll be windows that you can break out and run away from.
No, because I don't want the players to be able to escape.
Yeah, but then it's gimmicky.
Yeah.
A real building has windows.
Yeah. A real building has escape routes.
Yeah, there's no building that has only one entrance unless it's a prison arch. Even
Yes.
a prison has two exits. Yeah.
And maybe that's the point. Maybe
It's not a realistic
that
building. Like
is
I'm sorry. It's bad game design.
And if we're very lucky, maybe some of the players will die.
They're women, Arch.
No, only some of them are. Plus, ChatGPT lets me do shit that the fucking Incarnate thing won't. Like making a mud road. I don't know why, but Incarnate refused to make fucking mud roads and pisses me off. It annoys me. Greatly so. Also, by the way, when RoboWaifu becomes real, listen, soon brain in jar. Soon immortality. Hold on, chat. If you can just stay alive for another 40 odd years, you can put your brain in a jar and you will live forever.
Imagine putting your brain in a jar and all you can think is like, kill me. Kill me. They're like, no.
It's fine. You'll get a better robotic body after a while. I'm putting my brain in a jar. No fucking doubt. I'm putting my brain in multiple jars if I can. Oh, speaking of, I should catch up on the Super Chat a little bit too. Simulation. Art, I thought on GTA 6 putting target ad in your game. As the bad trend in video games, GTA 6 will popularize. This is 5 for Neil, for Arc Knights. Actually, that was the thing scrolling. GTA will popularize all of the bad things, and that's kind of the problem, which is why I hope it fucking fails, even though it won't. Even though it won't. But I wish it would. Also, chat, we need more likes. We have 900 people watching, only 356 likes. I want 600 likes. Let's get 600 likes, chat, and we'll get a nice bonus to one of the funds. Come on, chat.
Like my contribution. Yeah, like chat. Don't you like my contribution to the show? Come on, get the like button.
They do love your contribution to the show. It's why they're there. It's very important. Reverend Norse, the support of Lindsay Clancy is a strong argument for repelling the 19th. I have seen many say, both men and others, saying women, I agree, but I'm not pro-democracy, so shrug. Well, that's a good point. Why would you want to repeal the 19th if you're not going to be in favor of democracy to begin with?
Do you know what I don't know? What I've noticed? Why is it that some people say voting doesn't matter, and the same people say that you need to repeal the 19th? Like, if voting doesn't matter, why do you need to repeal the 19th?
Yeah. You don't need to anymore. It's fine. Yokata, she KD'd her kids and is pleading insanity to avoid accountability like all foids. Burn at the stake. Conceivably, but I also do believe that the insanity argument does hold a certain amount of water in this case. There is a possibility. Before we burn the witch, let us burn the doctors as well. Listen, I'm all for burning the femme. Okay? If there's good reasons for putting the witch on the bonfire, then we shall put the witch on the bonfire. But I ask you, nay, I beg you, to consider burning the doctors too. Sir Florida Man, Arch, evil exists. Just put on your witch hunter hat and warm up the chippy. It will be very buzzy. And Uncle Shrew, let's stage Mouse Utopia. Let us go. We're already in Mouse Utopia. GG friends, seeing women react this way reminds me of the early 90s and the OJ trial. It's madness and stupidity, which incidentally is why jury trials is now outdated. AI judges, I say.
Did you see the guy that
Are you
destroyed
ready to
flock
wreck this
cameras and
yellow
he got
mare's
jury
buttery,
notification?
buttery butt?
Well, that is one good thing about the jury thing, I guess. Rector Hall, Lindsay Clancy was suffering from postpartum psychosis, which is very different from postpartum depression. These women claiming they are like Lindsay should be locked up to see how much they're related then. And Reverend Norse, she strangled her 3 children one at a time. There's not a single instant of crazy that took time and effort, sending away the husband to create the window of opportunity. Luminous funds. Yep, no, it was premeditated, no doubt about it. And she should be convicted of the crime. Geoblade Warrior, Hitler was heavily medicated, making him innocent. You know, unfucking ironically, I agree with that statement. Hitler did nothing wrong.
That's such a good point. Hitler was actually medicated.
Like, okay, let me... Alright, chat, we're gonna fucking go down this path now. We're gonna go down the Hitler did nothing wrong path. Excuse-moi, but there's a book called Blitzed. Which I heard about, and it was Drugs in the Third Reich by Norman Ohler. And this international bestseller, people are like, oh my god, the Nazis. This explains how they did their conquests. They weren't just Übermensch, they were on drugs. Which is kind of funny, so you're telling me that the French and the British and the Italians, everybody, and the Americans and the Russians got their asses beat by a bunch of fucking meth heads? But anyways, the point is...
Look, no one is saying that meth heads aren't violent, Arch.
It's true, but organized violence and mere violence are 2 different things.
I know, you need people that organize it to not be
Are
meth
you
heads,
ready
and the
to
people
wreck
that do the
this
violence to
yellow
be
mare's
meth heads.
fluttery, buttery butt?
But the book opens with like an entire chapter of the author just fucking crushing his own nuts, okay? Just placing his testicles on a wooden stump and just smashing them with a hammer again and again and again and again. Germany did everything wrong. Hitler was a monster. We're evil. We must learn our lesson. And I'm sitting there like, oh, okay. Sure, yeah, I agree. And then he goes into what the Third Reich did with their drugs. And some of it's very interesting, like the role of Pervitin, for example, in the Blitzkrieg, is a interesting perspective. I think he overstates its effects quite severely, but then they get to the Hitler portion. So Hitler, when he wasn't drugged out of his eyeballs, he was making weirdly sensible decisions. For example, he looked over the French border and thought, okay, listen, we can blitzkrieg these fuckers, okay? We sweep through the Ardennes. My boy Guderian here's got a great idea. We do this and we do it now. And all of his generals are like, ach, mein Führer, we can't do that. The French, they'll defeat us again like they did last time. And he insisted, no, this is what we're going to do. And before that, he had several massive political coups. He got the Anschlussen of the Sudetenlands. He took over Austria. Like, he got concession after concession. He played the political game against the Allies brilliantly. And he made nothing but the right fucking choices. Not to mention, he was a brilliant speechwriter as well. Then the doctors came in and started pumping him to the fucking eyeballs with everything they could get their hands on, okay? Opioids, meth, all kinds of synthetic shit, painkillers, you fucking name it, and suddenly he goes fucking insane. Oh, wow. How strange.
It was Mossad, Arch.
Mossad. It might have been
I'm
Mossad.
pretty sure that's what people would say on Twitter if you tell this. Like, somehow they will say that they're just behind it.
I'm not completely, denying the possibility that the Jews may have been responsible for this. Somehow, I'm just not seeing the connection immediately.
I don't know, get a far right here, and he will find the connection within like 5 seconds.
But my point is, if we are going to go by this definition that insanity, you didn't commit any crimes, you were crazy, you were feeling a bit stressed at the time, well, by the modern definition, Hitler did nothing wrong.
Listen, Arch, get Candace Owens here. She'll find the connection.
She will find the connection.
She will say it was Israel before Israel was a nation state. She will find out the way.
And unironically, the book made me feel bad for Hitler. There's one moment in the book where another non-Jewish doctor, I'm I'm kidding. I'm pretty. Wait, no, he was. Fuck, I think he was actually.
He was, wasn't he?
Holy shit, I think he was. Yeah. Fuck.
He was, yeah.
Anyways,
You know why I know he was? Because it's one of the only Jewish people that got like the honorary Aryan thing because it was Hitler's own doctor, and he actually saved his mama or some shit. Yeah, no, he was. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Such is life. Theodore Morel. Yeah, that was the guy. Theodore Morel. Okay, now I'm fucking curious.
Yeah, just go on ChatGPT. Was he Jewish?
God.
It doesn't sound Jewish.
Fucking damn
it is. It is, isn't it?
Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe we're gonna err on the side of no. No, I'm gonna err on the side of no for the sake of YouTube. But anyways, there's a part of the book where an actual doctor is called because Hitler is violently ill, and he goes like, this man is like 98% chemicals. I need to flush his fucking system. Jesus Christ, what have you been doing to him? And Morel becomes incredibly nervous because if people realize what he's been doing to Hitler, they're just gonna fucking shoot him. So he sneaks into Hitler's room and just gives him like an entire needle of opioids to make him feel better for a while, and then he gets the other doctor fired and everything. Like, little poor Hitler-chan was abused by his doctor.
I mean, it's the Jordan Peterson thing, right?
Is it?
You go to the doctors. Yeah, you go to the doctors. They pump you up full of shit.
They do.
They do. And if it's FDA approved, it's fine.
If it's FDA approved, it's fine. If Theodore Morel approved it, it was fine.
Yeah.
So there you go, chat. There's the argument for why Hitler was a good boy who didn't do nothing. It's the same argument that is being levied for Lindsay Clancy. So now you know. An unexpected connection, I'm sure. Benny, U51. The husband remarried a few months after she did this. I bet she found out he was cheating on her and ta-da. Ooh. That is particularly nasty.
Arch, I need to bounce. It was fun. Thank
You
for
may
having
bounce.
me.
You may vibrate even,
bounce.
if you so choose.
I will not. I will just bounce.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming on, V.
Thank you for having me.
Marine Alpha, there's a full feminist panic going on. Saw War on Us poster all over the interstate in Seattle. Yes, it's very much so a feminist reaction to it. Marine Alpha, the city of Seattle is making it illegal to pick up needles off the ground as one group of volunteers are getting slapped with legal action. He needs to explain to us the crime of voluntarism, prosecution under Soviet law. No, I bet you I can explain this, okay? Right? Because City of Seattle. City of Seattle. Google. Drug problem. There we go. Right. So the city of Seattle is apparently a massive den of drug addicts. I can tell that because there's an article going, does Seattle have a drug problem? If the question is raised, then yes. Yes, unquestionably so. Fucking cartels on the streets. So, in this case, the government are going to be, listen, you can't pick up the fucking needles off the ground because they're going to be covered in herpes and AIDS and fucking Ebola and the Black Death and God only knows fucking what. And when you prick yourself on the needles, you're going to go, government, why did you let me do this? Why? I'm going to sue you now. And then the government then the government's going to be held responsible for that. I get it. Plus, listen, my position on the war of drugs is that it wasn't strident enough, okay? I am a vociferous advocate for the Chinese solution to America's drug problem and the drug problem in general, all right? I'm all for this law. Lord Warriors, no Lumi. Oh, Mal, you're maidenless. That's not true. I had V here. He's a maiden. Grazer Dunkspe, you're quite smart. Could I join you for stream? No. I only hang out with the most intellectual, which includes V. The most intellectual. Arch are clever. Kill me. Prey Wolf and Arch, you showed that you have all data on GOG ownership as one of the co-founders bought everyone else out for almost a year ago. Oh, did they? Oh, that's a good thing. Oh, that's a good thing. Don't have what's refund. No. Just no. Yeah, I can tell. She went to doctor shopping to get doctor prescribed a drug that is known to cause a specific side effect. This is on the women, not the doctors. But can't we punish both of them? Magnetardo. Magneto did a lot of things wrong, by the way. I'm more worried about the crazies out there thinking this will protect their rage-killing episodes with a potential pity. Go fund me, my lazy sick ass. Mr. Rich Low Pitch, thank you for your donation, sir. V, how many times have men come out in support of men who have committed rape and openly admitted to having done so? That's a good point. That's a good point, actually, yes. So, if this was a man, if Lindsay Clancy was a man, and we're talking an actual man here, not man plus, not Womexen or anything like that, there would not be all of this support. It would not have happened. Not have happened at all. Not in the slightest. Nobody would have given a shit about her mental health or any of her excuses or anything like that. Zero. It wouldn't even be a public court case. Not beyond the immediate outrage of it anyways. She would have been thrown in jail, and if the laws had allowed it, executed. And that would have been it. There would have been no GoFundMe. There would have been no mass support outside of the prison. There'd be no men showing up in all blue t-shirts going, oh my God, not all men. Wouldn't have happened. Wouldn't have happened. Which again speaks to the female hive mind of this particular thing. You don't know what a Womexen is? Chat, surely you must know what a Womexen is. God. Okay. Chat is somehow unaware of what Womexen is. A woman X is the same as woman plus, okay? In that it's a woman who's a man. In fact, no, it can be worse than that. A woman who's a man is merely a man in left-wing ideology. A woman X is anything at all. Like, it is an unidentified life form that exists on a planier space where they can be anything on the spectrum at any given time. They can be men, they can be women, they can be they, thems, they can be fucking tea kettles for all you know. They can be fluid gendered at any point in time. They may identify as anything at any point, even mid-conversation. They could suddenly just shift their entire gender overnight. And they have, of course, significant support as well. This was all the rage a few years ago. I think it's tapered off these days a lot more. But this used to be everywhere. There used to be people who referred to themselves as Womexens. In fact, it got worse. This was the origin point of hospitals referring to women as breeders because they couldn't call them women anymore. What was it? Oh, was it Australia? Australia. Okay. But yeah, breeders. Because why not? Breeding persons. Was also bleeding people, I think. Bleeding persons was another one. Captain Blue Shadow, greetings, Arch. When you're in Florida, make sure to visit Tank America to drive a light tank. See you at the fair. There are others, but YouTube won't let me say the word. Tank America. And Freyna, 500 warp tokens. If she killed 3 dogs, they at best would hate her. That's true. Unironically, she would receive greater moral condemnation if she had killed 3 canines than 3 children. But this resolves back into the fact that we humans have a weird preference for animals over our own species half the time. Oh, birthing person. That was the one. Yes, birthing person. There you go. Replaces mothers with birthing people and maternal hole guidance. The birthing people. Oh. What is it? Here we go. Here we go. Yes, I used this as an example in the latest video. Behold, a birthing person. Damn. Damn. Some say that the world has gone a little bit insane. Personally, I disagree with that thesis. I think that it was always insane. We've just pulled away the last vestiges of normality and decency that was covering up the full-fledged insanity. And yes, as I said in the video as well, those clothes are painted on, so if you stare extra hard, you can see some solid outlines of nip-nips right there. Nip-nips. Male nip-nips. Or female nip-nips. We actually don't know. It's difficult to determine these days. Lazier Soda, Asmongold is Roach Blade versus Sunpiker exist in anime form on YouTube. Say up anime. Also, good yet said Warcraft skit. Yet said Warcraft. Send him. Rockstar probably will send Pinkertons. I fucking hope so. In fact, didn't they do that recently? There was something the Pinkertons were used for recently. Pakelda. Art, they find people for improper handling of drug paraphernalia, but their official cleanup people are picking them up with their own bare hands. Volunteers are wearing gloves. Mirror's Edge Fund. Well, that's because their fucking people have probably signed waivers. That means they can't fucking sue the state. Ansiloxon Doppelganger. Men must stop tolerating two-tier justice system of women. We need our own demonstrations, vigilante justice against women who get off easy, and the judges will allow it, etc. But we're not going to. We're not going to. It won't happen. We're different than them. We don't have the hive mind. And incidentally, I've been having an idea on this particular topic, right? So, I am sure everyone is familiar with the idea of the cathedral, right? The left-wing cathedral. This is the... how do I put it? It is the idea that the left wing has an orthodoxy. It has doctrine that is generally understood to be correct and believed by the majority of the left as a fundament for their beliefs. They may then further disagree on the finer points of doctrine, and this may often lead to violent disagreements and wholesale schisms, but the cathedral exists nonetheless as a general overarching framework. The right wing requires a cathedral of its own. Now, the difficulty with this is we don't know what our cathedral is, and we have no common perception of what our cathedral could be. as the right wing is very, 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 very spread on positions of policy, on ethics, on morality, on our very worldview. And we are further divided by the fact that the right is far more vital and interested in individual success and constructing something. Now, this was a tremendous advantage when we were rising up against the left, because it meant that we had far more people willing to start building and talking about things, as there was no incentive whatsoever to start doing, like, right-wing YouTube videos 10, 15 years ago. No incentive at all. The only incentive was that you might get censored and thrown out of polite society if somebody looked at you and called you a bad word. It was with the specific intent to build a counterculture, a long-term endeavor that is only now beginning to become, popular and to a degree profitable. Which is why you're seeing a lot of more people, the normies, jump aboard this particular train. A lot of Asmongold's a brilliant example of this. Opinions would have been considered quite radical a few years ago, but today are, if anything, somewhat bland, really. And you see a lot more people adopting this position in public, specifically also women. The fact that the right-wing culture is becoming, if not outright popular, then at the very least tepidly accepted in female circles, is a very clear indicator that it is becoming popular and politically acceptable, as women, by and large, tend to flow with the tide rather than be the tide. But this has also left us with basically every single right-wing commentator having a wildly different idea on what the right wing actually is. As we still don't have a definition of conservatism that covers even a fucking quarter of us. MAGA is another that doesn't really work for a lot of right-wingers. The right wing itself is just not enough of a fitting term, because at that point we go from everything from economic conservatives to, wingnats. So, we require a cathedral of our own. But we haven't even begun to lay the fundament of that cathedral. And obviously, some of the weaknesses of the cathedrals is that if you have a unified doctrinal foundation, then you can also suffer the problems of tribalism, which the right has, and for better or worse, also managed to avoid to a considerable degree. Nevertheless, we require a cathedral to be able to enforce our will upon the public large, the body politics. As the Charlie Kirk assassination, we talked about this briefly on Stamford Bridge just this week, that was a victory for the left. They won in the cultural battle over the Charlie Kirk assassination, and there's no doubt about it. There just wasn't any consequences for the people who seized upon the moment on the left and mocked him in public, made fun of him. Even the guy within Games Workshop, Thomas, I think his name was Thomas. Tom Mendel, that was one, received no consequences. He's probably still working at Games Workshop, as he hasn't updated his employment status, so he's probably still there. Games Workshop did nothing. They did not throw him out. They did not censor him. They did not get rid of him. They simply closed ranks, and since the majority of the Warhammer commentariat community also simply ignored it entirely, there was no public force behind the backlash. There was condemnation, and for a brief moment there, you could see people like Hassan and Destiny were suddenly going, but free speech, but my free speech. Because that meant that they were afraid. They know what happens when the left does that to other people. They know that cancellations and consequences are coming. However, the right wasn't able to actually manifest any real consequences at all. Nobody was deplatformed, nobody suffered any real consequences, nobody lost their employment or anything like that. And whilst the me of 10 years ago may have been horrified by saying this, we must possess that power. We must be able to actually inflict those consequences upon the left. For if we do not, then they may continue to inflict those upon us. And they may not be successful. Indeed, their power to do so have waned more and more over the years, to the point where today, their ability to cancel people is almost non-existent. But that is only because of the cultural outrage against their previous actions. If that cultural outrage fades, as all outrage inevitably will with the passing of years, they will regain that authority. And all that will happen is that we will have once again halted the decline for a brief moment, pulling back against the beast's reins, and then, once the majority forgets about the crimes of the left, they will start pulling on the rope again, and we'll be right back to where we were, needing to halt it once more. We need to actually be able to reverse course as well, not merely slow the decline. And to do that, we require a stick, and the stick requires a cathedral. Now, how to begin constructing that cathedral? That's a very different question. That is a very, very, very different question. And it might need to begin by just enforcing the orthodoxy. Which I know, this is another thing that me and Sagan talked about as well, that winning will essentially become forcing the left to say our words, enforcing the orthodoxy. But, I don't know. My theory is that if we reach that point without the consequences already having been handed down, we really will enter into a period where they will simply go underground for 10 years and then re-emerge. Anyways, Marksman on Kick. Arch, you should start a fund for Battlefield Vegas. You can choose between a retired M60A1 or T55 that survived the 6-day war with Israel. That has been brought up on multiple occasions. I've decided to not start a fund for it because I'm not going to be in Vegas for long enough to be able to do that. As I'll spend most of my time in Florida. That's why, because I don't want to do a fund for something I can't do, obviously. Martinez, I would rather pre-order a game from Rebel Wolves than Witcher 4. Cyberpunk was a warning sign. The magic is fading from CD Projekt Red. And I would largely agree. See, I even agree that Cyberpunk 2077 was a pretty good game. It was a pretty good game. Did it live up to the hype? God, no. Was it the mind-blowing experience it was supposed to be? Absolutely not. Was its story miles inferior to that of Edge Runners? Holy fucking moly, yes. And no doubt about it whatsoever. Yes, oh God. It's fucking shameful that the animation studio managed to make such a vastly superior cyberpunk story compared to the half-assed wet blanket faggotry of Cyberpunk 2077. Which, again, was... I am almost certain it was the rumors are true, and that it was rewritten specifically to get Keanu Reeves into a deeper role in all of it, because Johnny Silverhand just doesn't work as a central character. He deprives you of far too much agency, and means that you exist as nothing more than an ancillary character in your own motherfucking video game. And the worst part is, I am a vociferous proponent for the idea of integrating companions deeply into a video game storyline. So you'd think I'd be overjoyed by Johnny Silverhand, but the fact that he overrides your story destroys fucking all of it. Now I'm a side character in my own video game. This is what Edgerunners got so correct, comparatively. Where you have a tragic story, but you still have the protagonist. It is the protagonist's tragic story, not the side character's tragic story. Marksman for 500 warp tokens. I mean, start the fun for a follow-up trip since you can't do it during this trip. Archer's return trip. Put both these towards Kira, our blue kitty. An America fund? A go back to America next time fund? I mean, what we could literally do, if there was interest in it, was to do a fund where chat determines what I go to America for. If there's a convention chat wants me to go to, for example, or something like that, that would be easiest for the majority of chat, then, I mean, could do that. We could. So long as I can make content of it, I can write the train ticket? Oh, train to America, that would be a while. The plane ticket off on taxes. Man, flying inside of America is fucking expensive too. And I fucking knew it. The moment I said that in chat, we must send Arch to a furry convention. Listen. If it's funny... If it's funny, I'll do it. I'm just saying, I don't know how funny it'll be. I don't know, actually, I was about to say I don't even know if there are furry conventions. I caught myself on that one. That's a retarded statement. Of course there are furry conventions. That's retarded. Of course there are furry conventions. That's a dumb thing for Arch to say. 12 Dirge, kick me! He squeals. He does squeal on occasion. It is true. It is true. I cannot deny it. Insane hippie saying GTA 6 story quest quality is in question due to the declining of GTA 5 online since the Auto Shop update. I'd be surprised if there was too much of a story. I mean, I'm sure the story is basically the chick was put in jail unfairly, she didn't deserve it, and her husband is a massive cuck who will simply stand by her no matter what. That'll be the story. Summarized nice and quick.
Sir?
Also, we're still 150 likes short of our 600 likes goal. Chat.
Sir?
Come now. Come now, chat. We are very close. 12 Dirge, we can send Art to FurCon in Europe. I don't know if I want to go to FurCon in Europe. FurCon in Europe. Wow. There is actually such a thing. Wow, there's multiple. They've got a calendar. Furrycons. Furrycons.com. Wow. Let's see. Eurofurence, Hamburg, Aberacon, UK, Furdance, Budapest, Hungary has FurCon, France, Germany, UK, Norway. What? Okay, now I'm curious. Furnavia. My God. Norway's largest annual furry convention. Sweet baby Jesus. Very well. Okay, there you go. Well, at least they play D&D. That's good of them. Sometimes I'm a little bit disturbed by how well organized certain groups of individuals are. Oh well. Such is life. You live and you learn. Sometimes you learn things that you might not necessarily have wanted. Ethan Grant, democracy doesn't work with women. Or democracy doesn't work for women. And therefore, they should be kept out of it. You know, there is, unironically, a discussion to be had as to who should participate in a democracy. I'm not convinced we should disaggregate it on gender lines just yet, but some sort of limitation of the franchise would seem wise. Prywolfen, you want likes? Give is the lady option of Harlot. Give is the lady option. Give is the lady option of Harlot. I don't understand your speaky words. Frog Jupiter V, can you show Arch the Dennis Prager clip? The Dennis Prager clip. I don't know. Marina Arch, will you get a robot body with no beep? I will get a robot body.
Trick or treat.
I will. And Boog, if he was a migrant, they would have been support. Maybe. Probably Wolf, and imagine she were even mildly attractive instead. And 12 Dirge, we can send Arch to FurCon in Europe. And Boog, furries are boring. Go to BronyCon. To BronyCon. Okay. Google. BronyCon. There is actually such a thing. There is actually such a thing. BronyCon was an annual fan convention. Oh, it's cancelled now. Held on the east coast of the United States for fans of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. There you go. So there is no such thing as BronyCon anymore. It was it ended in 2019. So there you go. There is no such thing, chat. You can't send me there because it doesn't exist. Shame on you. Shame on you. Tick tick boom. The more universal a franchise, the less freedom there is. It's only ironic if you don't think about it. Yeah, no, it's again the tyranny of the masses. The tyranny of the masses has been probably the most strident problem within democracy since its very foundation, to make sure that somehow the majority cannot tyrannize the minority. And honestly, we'd figured out the solution to that fairly well by a series of gentlemen's agreements, basically quite simply assuming and understanding that even if one side gained political prominence, it would not use its position for vengeance against the opposition. Obviously, that rule has somewhat fallen by the wayside over the last few fucking years. Mallory, wait and see if Arch could get into the Crater Range Day run by Donut Operator and Brandon Herrera. I don't think I'm a big enough fish for that. Those are fairly large creators. Yeah, they've been mentioned several times, but actually, I think I have... I had a brief chat on Twitter with... Who was that? Angry Cops, was apparently one of a member of those guys, but that was just because he needed recommendations for 40k, so I don't exactly have a line in there. You must understand, chat, I am but a small fish wiggling at the bottom of the barrel. I can't even... Look, 481 likes. We can't even get 500 likes, chat. I am but a small fish. Happy, here, living, wiggling. Prior Wolf and Arch, this is the weekly harlots on the internet stream. And all the harlots so far are male instead of female. Give us the ladies. Get the likes. Listen. I'll need new co-host. Lum Lum is dead. Lum Lum is just simply dead. Her life has fled her. Her life has fled. I'll have to go recruiting again. I wonder who's free on Saturdays. Listen. We'll just have to make Madame Savvy a permanent co-host. That would work. That would work really well. You know what? So long as there's only one of them, it's true. It actually does work out reasonably well. It's only when they gain numbers and start ganging up on people that things get problematic. As we have all by now very much so realized. As we have now very much so realized. I second savvy. Hmm. My brain.
Are you ready to rut
Well,
this yellow
I
hair
shall do a little bit of a check around. Then
buttery
again, I
jelly?
also do like having the occasional little personal rant too. Archie enjoys having a little rant by himself. It is calming, relaxing. Not having to speak to other human beings is frankly quite chill. Maybe Arch enjoys the solitude. Maybe Arch does. Well, we have a guest next week, and we have a guest the week after that, so hiccup. Hiccups. Jesus Christ. So I have plenty of time, if not. And then we're getting close to the America trip after that again, so... Yes, plenty of times. Marine Elva, all mine, for War of Rights. I owned that game. I've been meaning to play it forever. War of Rights. I've owned that game for I don't even know how long. Well, then again, I used to be the kind of guy who never bought a video game without playing it, because why would you buy a video game without playing it? That's ridiculous. Now I'm looking at Bolt Gun, 0 hours played, never even installed. War of Rights, 0 hour played, never even fucking installed. Weirdly enough, I do have 4.5 hours in Warhammer 40k Regicide, the idiotic fucking chess game. I bought that back during the time when, you know, everything that was Warhammer was new and shiny. Wasteland 3. I own Wasteland 3. I was so excited for Wasteland 3. Never played it. Simply because I'm fucking daunted by the idea of beginning to play another 30-hour RPG. Even as I really loved Wasteland 2. The problem with Wasteland 2 is it was too fucking long. I got like 2/3 of the way through it, and then the combat was just fucking grating on my nerves, and I couldn't play it anymore. I really should play Wasteland 3 at some point. I really should play Wasteland 3 at some point. That would be great. What other games haven't I played? World War II Rebuilder, haven't played that. X4, I've played for 9 hours. I really need to get back into X4. Too many games I've never touched. Ah, yes, and my most shameful video game. God, that is terrifying. And to be ignored forevermore. Monksman F&T meetup happens in Vegas. How about that? I would presume that would require invitations. I would assume. Otherwise, sure, that could be interesting. I'm interested to see how doing a week in America will work out, or if I'll need more. But then again, I'm the kind of guy who hates vacations, so going to a place for more than a week, I feel like I'd be climbing the walls if I was to stay anywhere for more than a week. On the other hand, an 18-hour flight. Fuck me. That might be the thing that finally breaks me of my my dislike of more than a week away. Yeah, that's another game I've never played.
Service guarantee.
Satisfactory. Bought it because I thought, like, oh, well, that'll be cool. Never played it. It's just sitting there. Unplayed. Unopened. Like a shameful gift-wrapped package staring down at me. As if it doesn't quite know what it's doing here. Or why I even purchased this. A tragedy, to be sure. Nasko Nikolov, invite Mizu, the most transphobic Soul fan as a co-host. You're interested in Warhammer, she'll introduce you to Sonic. No, not Mizu. Because I've had Mizu on. Mizu, like in Atari's friend? That Mizu? Not that Mizu? Another Mizu? Mia 2. Silver Hedgehog from the Sonic franchise. Followed by Nyanus. Well, if she's followed by Nyanus, then maybe. Transphobic Sonic fan, huh? Satisfactory as Kino. I've heard good things about it. I've just never had the time, I guess, to set aside to play it. Maybe I shall simply have to find the time. Maybe. Yeah, that's right. Red Dead Redemption as well, which I played for like 4 hours and never touched again.
Yellow mare's fluttery buttery butt.
I'm making myself sad by looking through my list of video games. I should stop now before I become depressed. Bags Naughty Bits, Latinx is 2016. It is now Latine, pronounced Latin eh. Latin eh? I like that. It's like a question mark at the end of it. I like that. I like the question mark. As if you're asking for further clarification. Yeah. Okay. I have determined your skin color. Now tell me what gender I'm supposed to connect to it. Mallory, isn't Tectone also at the side-scroller things and he's friends with the unsub crew? Yes, he will be. But I am not friends with him yet. We will see. We shall see. Though I am hoping the side-scroller event will be a big success. I'm hoping so. Speaking of, I do need to plug things as well. We're on Spotify now, by the way. There should be a link to that in the description down below. So, if you want to watch podcasts, I don't think all of them are up there yet, but they'll be like rolled out slowly over time. If you want to watch podcasts without constantly being interrupted by unskippable 60-minute long advertisements, well, guess what? You now possess that power. It's true. The power is within you, chat. You can do that now. I think. Pretty sure. Maybe. Possibly. Conceivably. But that is now an option, as I am broadening my horizon, striking out into brand new and hopefully friendly audiences.
Service guarantees citizenship.
Matti Kukkonen. Oh, Finland. Hello, Finland. We had a discussion about whether or not your people were Slavic, Swedish, or Mongolians the other day. I classified you as Swedish. You can thank me later. Have you seen the AI stuff about Sean Connery and Kirk Douglas in Star Wars? Star Wars Under Rebel Fire, 1960s fan film, episode 2. I have not. I did see an AI slop thing about Red Alert 2, though. Shut up, advertisement. Let me mute that. Let me mute it. I see they've managed to outfox my ad blocker again. God damn them. 10 minutes long. Well, actually, I mean, can I show this on screen? Part of me fears. Fuck it. I mean, it doesn't look terrible. It definitely has some janky wanky here and there, that's for sure. Yep, I wonder if AI will ever be able to get guns right. It doesn't get guns. It does not get guns, ever. Or gun turrets, that one having 2 barrels. Get the energy reactor, the shields reactor. It's weird. It gets his, like, land speed. It's like, oh, that's a land speed. I know what that is. I can recreate that. But a gun, no matter how many references you give it, it's like, nope, I have no fucking clue what that is. Well, this looks pretty cool, though. Honestly, I genuinely do believe that things like fan-made animations of stuff like this will become a pretty big deal in the future. And honestly, this is exactly kind of what I want AI to be used for. I want there to be like different interpretations of everything. So this is Hoth from the Imperial point of view, it looks like. Which is really cool, by the way, because Hoth is an interesting military operation from the Imperial perspective that they could do a lot more with. And so I want 100 people to each make 100 versions of the battle for Hoth. Some from the Imperial view, some from the Rebels, some doing obvious like 60s actors, some doing it in fucking Technicolor, some doing it like an artsy-partsy fan film kind of stuff, like others doing it like in fucking acid trips, others recreating it virtually shot by shot but just upscaled and so on. That is what I want to see from AI. Just loads of people making loads of different versions that they would prefer out of the same thing. Iterative processes, so that everyone will get their preferred version of the thing. That's what I want. That is the future I thirst and long for. It does look pretty good, though. It does have some artifacting, and again, it doesn't seem to like guns, or Imperial Army helmets for that matter. But it does weirdly well about the land speed. Let's see if the... God, the particle effects, though. AI is getting really fucking good, chat. AI is getting really fucking good. And it's probably only going to get better. Assuming we don't start burning down our data centers, which is not entirely an impossibility, mind you. There may very well still be a bit of a Luddite movement in the future. Ah, yes, that's the one. They probably will update copyright laws and demand that AI won't do Hollywood stuff. Yes, regulation is the other thing, of course, and that is inevitably going to come along, no doubt about it. But here's the problem, okay? Right now, AI is in a little bit of a legal double-speak trap, right? Where there's lots of things working its way through the court system, which claims that you can't own AI, right? You can't copyright AI because there's insufficient creator input. We've seen a lot of stuff like that. But if you can't copyright AI, then obviously if you make something in AI, it cannot be a copyright violation, right? By definition, because it cannot be copyright, it cannot be trademarked, it cannot therefore be viewed as the thing that is copyrighted and trademarked. So, ironically, if they want to put forward trademark or copyright claims against AI-generated content, they must first recognize that it can be copyrighted and trademarked. So that's a big problem. And then obviously there's the Chinese market. As China is beginning to move more and more away from Hollywood, the only reason why China enforced copyright at all was because they wanted to keep tickling the balls of the Hollywood studios, because China thought that to win the cultural victory, they required Western IPs. They required our television, our movies, our stuff to sell back to us. Now that they've started making their own shit and it's selling like mad, a lot of Chinese companies are beginning to realize that they can just make Chinese stuff in China and are starting to invest in Chinese infrastructure and entertainment. And, well, if AI gets off the ground as much as it does, and China decides that it isn't actually dependent upon the West for copyright and for IPs, then they'll probably just stop enforcing copyright entirely in China. Zonta went to a hydroplane race today and Lum flipped one of the race boats over. That was quite a rude thing to do. Why did she do that to the poor man? Because she is an evil woman. That's why. As we have determined, all women to be evil women. And Freyna, China is doing a really great PR campaign against data centers. Homeworld. I bet they are, especially in America. Probably less so in their own country, I would imagine. Homeworld. Homeworld. There's the Homeworld Fund. There. But now then, Arch is getting hungry. Arch is getting very, very, very hungry, and he desires pastries, which means that he will bid you farewell for now. Thank you very much for watching, chat. Thank you for your likes and your generous donations and your participation today. Remember, even giving likes and talking in chat all help me out. It all helps the stream grow, reach more people, increases our range and radius, and allows us to affect more people. It is a small cultural victory, chat, and you are doing your part. I need to get that animated. Do your part, click the like button. I need to get that. I can do it in AI. Actually, that's a brilliant idea. I should do that. I should do that, and I shall do that. Yes, yes. I shall do that. It is a brilliant idea that I came up with, chat. Until tomorrow. And in the claws of the eagle, or talons, the RP, anyways, which you don't want to miss. It's going to be a banger, I guarantee you. It's going to be the best episode I have ever done. No exaggeration. It's going to be fantastic. Check it out. I will bid you all